How's it going everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and this is a video that I've been kind of expecting to make for a while now, and a situation that I've been considering how to tackle should the time come. But if you've been watching for a while, you'll know about my ongoing beef with Midnight Works. Well, they finally appear to have gone ahead and launched a full-blown assault on my channel. I'm talking internal messaging, HR heads with questionable practices, and staff that are clearly unhappy with the company. But we'll get on to exactly what has happened shortly. For a bit of background and context to those unfamiliar with my history with the company though, I'll kick things off with a bit of a recap, but if you know all of this already you can of course skip to the good part, and you can find more in-depth videos on the publishers mentioned in this video in the channel's Scam Game playlist. So let's start with Midnight Works. Who are they and why have they got such a hard on for me? Well, since the conception of the channel, unlike a lot of Nintendo Switch channels, I've focused on creating content not only on reviews of the good Nintendo Switch games, but also the bad ones, and I've called out a lot of them for being the shit states that they are, and in the process upset quite a few of the publishers and developers. Back in the early days of the channel, my focus was more on trash titles and asset flips, and I managed to piss off a publisher called PixArts, whose solo developer tried to justify his action with some bollocks about there being nothing wrong with taking assets and then flipping them to make a profit. However, in January of 2022, a new type of game hit the scene as Cop Car Police Simulator Chase landed on the Nintendo Switch eShop. Published by Midnight Works, this game immediately caught my attention due to its bogus screenshots, which were completely fake and didn't represent the in-game visuals in any way, shape or form, as well as its extravagant description, which highly embellished the game's features and made it sound a lot better than it actually was, when in fact the game itself was a steaming pile of shite. It was a laggy, buggy mess and could only be played in handheld mode. Following this, Midnight Works continued to publish games which followed suit, most of them displaying similarly dodgy screenshots and descriptions which often contain features not actually present in the games, the titles of which contain high traffic keywords to ensure they showed up in searches, and the sales tactic of pricing them around $20 but constantly having them with a 90% sale meant that they also constantly appeared in the deals section. Anyway, I continued to cover the games, but then new publishers started popping up which also followed suit, and whilst researching them, I started to notice things which appear to link these publishers back to Midnight Works in one way or another, be that through ties as a sub-company, through publishing connections, or location. But the most apparent of these came when Midnight Works made the jump to PlayStation, where a large number of games published by these other companies ended up being published by Midnight Works. Now obviously, my battle against their bullshit didn't go unnoticed, and in July 2023 I got my first false copyright takedown notice from them, which didn't actually try and claim any of the content in the video, and instead expressed their opinions that the content I was making was hurting their impeccable reputation and putting people off working with them, to which my response was, boo-hoo, get over it, stop being such bellends and you wouldn't be facing this problem in the first place. But YouTube refuted the copyright claim of course, and that was that, though I now knew that they had their eyes on me and it was only a matter of time before they struck again. So who in fact are Midnight Works? Well, Midnight Works are a so-called developer and publishing company which have fingers in many different pies, but from what I can gather, the company hails from Moldova and have offices in both Moldova and Romania. They also have a website where you can see their entire company timeline, from humble beginnings to what they claim to be a leading game development and publishing studio, or from zero to Lambo as the modest folk over there would have it. But they started with mobile games before making the jump to consoles in 2022. They now have a team of over 200 talented individuals, and alongside the publishing buddies at Go Game console publisher, Game to Top Corp, Revolt Games and others, have so far published a combined total of about 150 titles on the Switch, not all of which have been terrible I might add, But recently, for some unknown reason, they appear to have attempted to disassociate themselves with these titles by changing the publishing name of them, not only on Switch but also on Steam. Finally, most recently, all of the games published on the PlayStation Store were removed without any apparent reason, and I had speculated that this was fallout from the high-profile takedown of the Last of Us clone, but I now suspect that this was down to a much bigger channel called PSVR2 Without Parole reporting a couple of the shitty VR games to Sony, and then them taking action to defend the PSVR2 baby, which inadvertently drew attention to Midnight Works' non-VR games. Now I can only assume that they thought that this was my doing, and I'm not going to deny, I have had my fun producing content on Midnight Works since I first discovered them and the shitty publishing tactics, and I expected some sort of ramifications and a comeback from them after the first failed attempt, but what they appear to have gone ahead and done has astonished even me. So here's the deal. A couple of nights ago, I had a couple of new members drop into my Discord channel, which is a small Discord channel for me to just shoot the shit with some of my viewers. But these guys both dropped me a DM warning me of an incoming attack from Midnight Works. Now I've kept their identities anonymous for obvious reasons, but the first guy told me that he was an employee at Midnight Works and had been watching my content for about a year and a half now, but he wanted to give me the heads up. And he said that Midnight Works have asked all of their employees to strike at my YouTube videos en masse from both the home computers and mobile phones. Now I had no reason to believe this was legitimate since I've had a couple of people claiming to be from this company before, but he then proceeded to provide me with a screen grab of a message that had been sent to the employees, which when translated said the following: Step 1, Step 2. The first 5 to 10 videos are random. The main thing is to do it from your home IP, not from work, from your account on YouTube. 1 strike from your home computer, 1 strike from your phone, 3G. Please do it by tomorrow. Now, I asked for more details, but the guy didn't want to divulge any more information, and the second guy just said, "Bro, your YouTube channel will be raided now, protect yourself, I don't know how I can help you more," and didn't really want to say anything else. Now I just want to say a big thanks to these few absolute legends for coming forward with this information. It takes balls to go against the grain and stick your neck out on the line for someone you don't even know, especially at the risk of your job. So thanks, I really appreciate what you've done here. But this kind of action begs the question, what kind of environment are these employees working in to warrant such a blatant act of mutiny? After checking out my YouTube stats for certain videos featuring Midnight Works though, I also noticed spikes in the views on them between 3 and 4 PM that night, all coming from my channel page, which means that someone has navigated to my actual channel page rather than finding the videos via searches. So at that point, I was pretty much convinced that these warnings were in fact legitimate. But then a day later, I received this email, once again from a Midnight Works employee, but this time it contained a full-sized screen grab of the same message, showing the team that it was sent to, that being Team Midnight, containing 239 members, the time it was sent, that being 5:28 PM, which given the time difference between Moldova and UK lines up with the 3 to 4 M spike in views that I mentioned, and the sender, one Christina Verijan, who according to org.com is the HR manager at Midnight Works. Consider that for a moment. A human resources manager directing her staff to put themselves at risk by submitting false harassment reports, all in an effort to silence a YouTube channel with 13,000 subscribers so that an immoral publishing company doesn't lose money whilst selling their scam games. And for what? So she can get a promotion, like she's popping an apple on the teacher's desk or something. Anyway, looking closer at the screen grab, it appears as though they are indeed targeting my videos by filing large amounts of abuse reports on them, and this could turn out to be some sort of elaborate hoax though everything I've seen thus far tells me otherwise. But unlike copyright claims, reports are unfortunately anonymous, and so I don't get notifications when they're submitted, so my channel could just be terminated at any point if any of them are successful. Now, I knew the risks when I started putting out content on them, especially after the first copyright notice came in, and like I said, I expected something from them, but this is stooping to new lows even for them. I mean, it's one thing to target me directly, but to put the burden on your workforce and instruct them to do your dirty work speaks volumes about the type of company that they really are. This development and publishing company is the absolute worst of the worst in my opinion. It's apparent that they literally couldn't give a shit about publishing decent titles and would rather try to rip off consumers, abusing the publishing rights on the Switch and other platforms by completely ignoring any kind of consumer right laws when it comes to digital content, and then targeting channels like mine who are keeping people informed of the bullshit and standing up to them, unlike Nintendo who still haven't done a single thing to try and stop them. So who is the bad guy here? Is it Midnight Works for creating this shit, Nintendo for distributing it, or is it in fact me for calling them out on it? As I've said before, the problem here is not on a personal level, it's the way in which these publishers are profiting from these tactics and how their actions impact on genuine indie game developers, those looking to break into the business and with a real passion for creating games, and their inability to be seen on digital distribution platforms such as the Nintendo Switch, which on a daily basis is constantly swamped with scam games, asset flips and cheap mobile knockoffs, only makes it that much more difficult for them. That is why I continue to make this kind of content, and that is why I continue to speak out against the likes of Midnight Works. It's not some kind of petty vendetta, it's because I'm a passionate gamer and I care about the art form that I've grown up engaging with. That though is about it for this video, but if you're somebody who cares about video games or are a content creator who has been targeted like this, then please do give this video a share wherever you can to get the word out. I'd really appreciate that. But for now, drop a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel for more Nintendo Switch content, thanks to the patrons of the channel and to you the viewers for watching, and until next time, take care of yourselves and game on.